I don't think people should have to wait for a background check to get a gun. It is your constitutional right to have a firearm, and you should be able to walk in and get it immediately. Okay? Now, I think that what CBI is doing is completely ridiculous. Making you wait 3 days sometimes to get a background check done, it's unreasonable.
I'm in total compliance with that. I just should know the background check before I get a gun. I had no idea that was still on my record.
You know, Barbara, I don't know what to believe with you because your story changes very often.
No, my story
it actually hasn't changed once. Neither is yours. So I'm at that.
Well, Tom, her story with me has changed several times. When I talked to her on the phone yesterday, you should have heard all the things, and I'm not going to repeat them because it would embarrass her. But
embarrass me, please.
Okay, you gave me this big song and dance how you've been raped 2 times and how you've been.
No, you just blew that one up.
Blew what one up?
I said my home was broken into and I was raped. That's why I wanted to get a gun.
Yeah, and you
said, I'm sorry about that, but...
I did. I am sorry about that. I'm terribly sorry that happened to you, and I'm glad you're getting a gun to try to fix it now.
And how you had given away so many guns to women because they couldn't afford them and they needed them, and on and on and on, how good you were.
I do help people all the time, Barbara, and I want to help you, but you're not helpable because you won't come take care of this deal. You told me you'd be here at 12:30. Barbara, it's 1:15. You didn't show up, and you didn't bother to call me and tell me you weren't coming.
I absolutely did call, and I left a message. I've been holding online here for a half an hour, and then finally I called this other number.
Yeah. You've been holding online for me?
For this show, to talk to you on this show. I wasn't going to come in there by myself.
Well, you should have called and at least had the decency after you made an appointment with me to call and tell me you weren't coming. The bottom line is I haven't done anything wrong here. She signed a thing that said all sales are final at the time of the payment or at the acknowledgement on
Rich,
the receipt.
you know, sometimes it's not just black and white and right and wrong. Sometimes it's just... You know what? Is it worth the battle? Seriously.
You're absolutely right. And you know what? Had she done the right thing, if she came in here and said, you know what, I can't do this deal, I don't have the money, I'd have given her the money back. I do it all the time. I give refunds.
You didn't like, so
in
other words, hold on.
I was in there three different times.
So in other words, you didn't like her attitude, so you're punishing her?
No, Tom, I don't even know her.
What does that mean then when you said, had she done the right thing? What does that mean?
She done the right thing.
What does that mean?
She filed the paperwork with the CBI to reverse her decision, and she couldn't have got the gun. I'd have taken care of her. But she didn't do that. She won't hold up her end of the deal. And if she's not
but I did fill out everything, and I did send it in.
You're a liar, Barbara. You didn't even come in and pick up the form like you're supposed to. You did not fill out the request for a review of the case. You're not telling the truth, Barbara. And I don't know if it's because you're lying or you're just not that smart. I'm not sure.
Rich, all I'm saying, man, listen, I don't doubt that you run an ethical business. I don't doubt that you follow the rules. But do you sometimes hear yourself? I'm not.
I do hear myself.
And do you really believe that this? I don't know. I mean, to me, sometimes it's not even about right and wrong. It's about just.
Well, that's the problem with society, Tom. Everybody gives up.
No. I'm not talking about.
Give up.
No, we're not talking about a major morality issue here. We're talking about a woman who wanted her money back, or that other guy that wanted his money back for a seat in your class.
That guy got his money back.
When did he get his money back?
That guy got his money back.
Well, that's good. How did he get his money back?
It was a battle for a while, but he did get it back.
How did he get it back?
Rich
came and sat through the class. He took the whole class.
He came through the class then.
And then he said, "I want my money back," and I gave it to him, just like I said.
Okay. Well, I never heard of that. So.
Well, he did do it, and so
that's good.
I don't appreciate you saying I'm an ass. I just don't appreciate that.
Rich, I'm not talking about like the AH. I'm just talking about like you're sounding like you make too big a deal out of things, and you pick battles. You pick battles. Yeah, you pick battles that aren't worth it.
Tom, I'm not making a big deal out of this. She was told as soon as Rich comes back, he just had a baby. He's taking some time off. As soon as he comes back, he'll take care of this with you. She couldn't wait. She called the cops on me. She called the credit card company. She called you. When I get back, I'm barraged.
Incorrect. They told me that you would not be available until the 6th of May.
Listen, Rich. You know what? You had your say on this case, and that's fine. Had we called you could have said, you know what, Tom, this thing ain't worth it. Just tell her I'm going to issue a credit. To hell with it. But instead, you take stands on this stuff that don't make a difference.
Let's ask you a question. Is it important for you, Barbara, to have a gun?
Not from you.
Barbara, let's not be a pain in the ass. Is it important for you to have a gun?
Yes.
Okay. Did I offer to help you to get that situation resolved?
No.
You're a liar. I did too. I offered it to you
on
Tom's show.
Okay. He did offer to help you on this show to help you try to.
Well, he gave me the form to fill out, which I sent in, which came back with the restraining order.
You're a liar. You didn't get the form.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, Barbara, you're a liar.
You know, Rich, listen, man. You know, I don't want to call her a liar. I don't want to do that. Bernice, your turn. Go ahead, Bernice.
Yeah, Tom, I just had a comment. I think part of it, I can't say I appreciate the way Rich is behaved. However, I do know sometimes interpretation of rules. He did say that he called CBI when they were first starting this whole thing, and maybe the guy he talked to wasn't real sure about how it all was going to work either. I worked for a convenience store as a manager, and when we first started selling the lottery tickets, it was a big thing. Pretty soon you couldn't take credit cards and then debit cards. Well, people were still taking checks.
I understand. So you're saying it's possible he got wrong information from the state. Dan, your turn. Go ahead, Dan. Dan. I don't think there's... Dan, are you there? Okay, let's go to Nancy. Nancy, your turn. Go ahead, Nancy. Okay, we have a problem with the phones, I guess, guys, because everyone's dead. Let's see if we can go to Frank. Frank, hello. I'm Tom Martino. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Basically, I work for another store here in town, and it seems like you've got two issues going on. You got
we do.
The business practice, and you've got a legal thing there. And the whole thing boils down to that first question where it talks about being, are you the purchaser?
Yes, sir.
And the purchaser indicates something that's going on, an action that is going on. It does not say, are you the owner of this gun?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the crux of the whole thing. When a person comes in to buy a gun from us, we have them fill out the form, we enter it in the computer to CBI. If it comes back negative, we have not charged them yet, so we don't have to issue a credit. Now, what we do is we eat the time that it took to do all this
so
stuff.
I want to know this.
Yeah.
Are you in agreement that you sell the gun first and they own it?
No.
All right. That's what I wanted to know. Okay. One bit of clarification before I go to break. Rich Wyatt and I were exchanging insults, and I told him I thought he was acting like an ass, and he said I was too. That's why people in my company have left. Rich Wyatt is good friends with a guy named Scott Watley, who used to sell for me, and he used to be with the referral list, and Scott Watley left to go with Chris Kane. The reason I'm saying this is because, Rich thinks it's some deep, dark secret. The reason Chris Kane left is because he could no longer substitute for me on the radio. It's because Clear Channel and myself came to the conclusion he was not good enough on the air to do the show. He got very upset about it when he heard Mike Bassett was filling in. I told you I don't keep any secrets from my listeners. When he heard Mike Bassett was filling in on the air when I was on vacation in December, he came in and quit. And then he took Scott Watley with him, and he took Kelly Poto. And let me tell you something. It was the biggest favor anyone has ever done for me. I'm Tom Martino. We have more coming up. Hi, Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. Welcome to the show. Hey, folks, it's been on fire so far. Keep it coming. I can take it. Anyway, you people heard Rich Wyatt at Gunsmoke, so you're welcome to comment. Or not. I don't think he's a bad guy, by the way. He's a new father. Congratulations. I think his business is probably 110% honest, above board, detailed, oriented. I just think his personality is abrasive. But that's my own opinion. What the hell? That's me. I'm abrasive, too, some people think. But I'm abrasive on the air. On the air. But what do you think of that? What do you think? Sometimes you have to pick your battles, I think. I think sometimes there's, I don't know, it's hard to explain it. It has nothing to do with ethics. It has nothing to do with, well, you shouldn't compromise your ethics as far as doing something illegal or wrong to make somebody happy. But as far as just sometimes saying, you know what, it's not worth the battle. Things like that happen. You got to give it up. Nancy's got a question. Go ahead, Nancy. What's happening?
Hi, Tom. My question is, during the interim of when this lady is waiting for him to sell her gun, who is that gun registered to, and whose name is he putting that serial number in under?
We don't know. These are all the hazy parts of this crazy